you, and good evening, and welcome to the April 26th council meeting agenda. Good evening and welcome to everyone. Due to COVID-19 and recommendations by Waterloo Regional Public Health to exercise social distancing and public gathering thresholds, township council meetings are currently being held electronically. Members of the public have been provided with the following methods to watch and or participate in this evening's meeting. Watch the live stream on YouTube by accessing the meeting through the township's website. You do not need a YouTube account to watch the live stream. You cannot directly participate in the meeting via the live stream, as for this is for viewing only. Secondly, members of the public interested in attending as an observer or wish to speak on any item listed under item 7, items for discussion, were required to submit the request in writing to the Clerk's Division before 7 p.m. on April 25th. A link and telephone number has been provided to those who registered before the registration deadline. And thirdly, in accordance with the township's procedural bylaws, members of the public are not able to verbally speak to all items on the regular council agenda. In brackets, members of the public may only verbally speak to the items listed under item 7 exclusively. But you may submit your comments in writing for all other items. Members of the public were invited to submit written comments to the Clerk's Division, which were provided to the mayor and council prior to the meeting and will form part of the public record. I'd now like to call the meeting to order and ask for approval of the agenda, please.
Moved by Councillor Rowland, seconded by Councillor Gillespie, that council adopt the April 26, 2021 regular council agenda as presented with the following addendum. 1, add item 5.2, delegation from Dana and Steve Greer with Indulge Hawaiian Shave Ice and Ice Cream, requesting an exemption to the mobile food vendor, bylaw number 1758-98. Mayor Foxton, your vote?
Yes. Yes.
Councillor Rowland?
Yes.
Councillor Ostner?
Yes.
Councillor McCreary?
Yes.
Councillor Gillespie?
Yes.
Okay, that carries.
Thank you. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest in general nature thereof?
Madam Mayor?
Councillor Rollman?
Yes, I have a conflict with 5.2, the addendum. My company has a business relationship with Indulge, so I'll have to declare a conflict of interest. I've given a written explanation to the clerk as well.
Thank you very much. So now there's no presentations. The delegation, we will now hear the delegations. So Dana Store and with Calvary Church is the first delegation for exemption to the mobile food vendors bylaw.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dana. I'm with Calvary Air. Basically, we were hoping just to run one food truck evening once a month, once in June, once in July, once in August, once in September. Just one Friday, get 2 to 3 food trucks out. This is simply just to bring the community together. I know Air doesn't have a whole lot of restaurants, and so we're a new church, about 18 months old in Air. So we just wanted a way just to kind of meet the community. Obviously, it's been difficult over COVID. I haven't gotten too far as putting teams together and stuff, because if this was something that was going to be stopped here, I wouldn't, proceed with that. Obviously, with COVID, we would, adhere to all the guidelines. If we had to cancel at the last minute, we would definitely do that. I know the food trucks themselves would be stationed with all the necessary things and the fire safety and health and safety. So yeah, that was basically my request, if we could have an exception to the bylaw that says there's no food trucks.
Thank you, Dana. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, can I have the motion, please?
Moved by Councillor McCreary, seconded by Councillor Rowland, that the delegation from Dana Store with Calvary Air Church be received, and that Township Council provide for an exemption from bylaw number 1758-98 to accommodate the operations of no more than one stationary refreshment and food vehicle to be located at 173 Northumberland Street, Air, subject to the following provisions. 1, the operating period shall be limited from June 1st to September 30th on Fridays between the hours of 4:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. 2, satisfactory inspection and approval secured from the region's public health department. 3, satisfactory inspection and approval secured from the fire department. 4, ensure appropriate public gathering and physical distancing requirements as set out the province are met and adhered to. And 5, ensure appropriate insurance is obtained and provide proof to the township.
CEO McNeely?
Madam Mayor, if I could, maybe I didn't quite hear the resolution correctly. Ms. Sage, did you say 1 stationary? Because I believe Ms. Storrs in her presentation said that they were looking at 2 or 3 food vendors. And so I don't want to be hung up on a technicality in terms of the threshold.
I will make that correction. Thank you for catching that.
So is it 3 food vehicles? Are they stationary? Like, when I thought stationary, I thought you meant they don't move from there, but that's not correct, right? We're just saying they pull in and park.
Exactly.
That's what it meant by stationary? Okay, and how, 2 to 3, is that what the new
2
resolution?
to 3. That's what I'm asking for. I've been in conversation with the Air Curling Club, and I know that they've done this in the past. So she kind of gave me some good advice, and she thought that 2 to 3, 2 savory, 1 sweet was sufficient for the community. That's what she recommended. But obviously, we would take what we can get.
Okay, are there any other questions or comments? Seeing none, can I have the revised resolution, please?
Sure. Would you like me to reread or?
No,
Okay.
just say as amended.
Okay, certainly. So as amended, Mayor Foxton, your vote for that?
Yes,
Councillor Rolleman,
Yes.
Councillor Osner,
Yes.
Councillor McCreary,
Yes.
Councillor Gillespie.
Yes.
Okay, that carries.
thank you. And next we have Dana and Steve Greer from Indulge Hawaiian Shave Ice and Ice Cream requesting an exemption to the mobile food vendors bylaw. And we'll wait for Cynthia to move people in and out.
Hi, everyone.
Good evening.
How's it going, guys?
Good, good. So do you want to speak on this at all, or?
Yes, we would love to. Dana would like to start on it. She's a little nervous talking on these Zoom meetings. She gets a little cyber stage fright, so I'll jump in where I can, but take it away.
Go ahead.
So we have a food truck that we're would like to propose to have an exemption from the food bylaw as well. We're proposing to have 2 days a week. It'd be a consecutive day, and the hours would be approximately like 1 to 8. We're looking for an exemption to either like township property or a commercial property with ample parking, and obviously where people can walk to the food truck, get ice cream, treats, or Hawaiian Shave Ice. And it's just a little picture of it in case everybody didn't get
It was in our package. Thank you,
to
Dana.
see it. So you can go.
Yeah, so basically, I know we kind of applied one other time, if everyone remembers, where we wanted to have the ice cream bus over at the corner of Indulge, and we ended up finding a better location for that. So this one here, we were just listening to the other lady have a, where she was applying to have a food truck night as well. Happy to get involved in it. We're just, with this being a mobile unit, we have to go and do our due diligence to have approvals at different townships and health inspections at different townships, all the permits, like, what's required to do this. So we're looking to do it in a few different various locations and potentially have like a set night for the North Dumfries Township, or a couple evenings that we can kind of get on a set route, like a set schedule. Like everybody remembers the old milkman coming to the door, we would be the ice cream man, and the Hawaiian Shave Ice. And if you wonder what Hawaiian Shave Ice is, it's like essentially like a gourmet snow cone with a fruit puree and that kind of stuff. And God knows, I think it would help bring a smile to everybody in this wonderful, dreaded, dreary COVID time.
No samples?
Oh yeah. We can get you to lick the screen. We'll show you some pictures.
I just want to
Scratch and
jump
sniff.
in.
I've been scratching my screen. I can smell it.
To know, Steve, and you know, where location, what were you looking at?
Well, we're trying to get approval first, and then we're going to work on getting a location,
I
depending
don't
on
know,
what.
I think we have to do it together. We have to know where the location is going to be so we can approve. Is that right,
What's
Steve?
your guys' take on as a township being able to offer this in say like at a the
One of
park
the
up by Cedar Creek Public School or anything? What's the take on that?
Schmidt Park, Andrew, any, Andrew or Karen? Well, Derek has his hand up. Derek?
Okay, thank you. What I was thinking about when I read over the application of that, would it be possible to allow for a route where they could, let's say, stop at the NDCC when the skate park's going on or the playground or soccer games or whatever, like if that happens this summer, but whenever there's some action going on the NDCC, and then have like 2 or 3 locations, as Steve said, like the ice cream man. I remember when I was a kid, the candy man came around and he blew his whistle and we all went crazy and ran out to the street and spent our whole 5 cents. But I'm wondering if it's possible to be able to allow them to stop at several locations in town. I don't know where else in the township they are choosing to go, but I'm just wondering, like in the town of Ayr, like if it could be like the NCCC, then, Cedar Creek, St. Bridget, or, like just make a couple stop like on a route. I don't know if that's something they want to do, but I was thinking about
That's
something
just a
like that.
suggestion to the Greers, if you were interested in doing that. Or is it that you set up at one location and secure everything and then it's a big deal packing it all up again?
Well, right now with the shaved ice, the truck has to be parked at a flat level place. But we could do possibly say like, depending on what's allowed, the time allowance, like we could do like a 3-hour window and 3 locations if possible, or even 2, like a 4-hour window, because it would be nice so that people would know where we are and they have the opportunity like every week, okay, the food truck is at this spot, that kind of thing.
The other issue too, guys, is just from a safety concern, that we're really just trying to have a place that's going to have ample parking and everything else, and being able to be set up in one spot. I don't know how to be able to handle, like, I don't want to, I'm maybe being the king of wishful thinking here, but the lineups and stuff, and then, you got to pack it up and then they follow you to the next location and kids are all jacked up on sugar and running around. We want this to be as safe as possible too, right?
Councillor Osner, did you have another question or is that your hand still up?
I was second time I put my hand up.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. What about, again, the Calvary Church property, whether it's in conjunction with them or not, or the Curling Club? The Curling Club seemed to be a really good location. I mean, it was something that you'd have to obviously speak with the Curling Club about, but that seemed to be a really nice location to the proximity of all the different traffic that comes through there. That could be one suggestion.
Could I make a suggestion that in principle, should council wish to pass this, and then they confirm which location they have and get back to us? So it's one of the points would be on confirmation of a location, approval of a location by council. Would that make sense? Go ahead, Steve.
Are you, when you ask that, are you preferring it to be on a private property location like the Curling Club, or do you guys have you want a proposal?
I'm saying it's your choice.
Okay.
So,
But you guys are open to having it being on township, like a park situation with ample parking and stuff?
I'm not sure yet. So that's why we need to know what the location was, so we can have the discussion, right? So we're not sure yet. What if, does any staff want to weigh in? Go ahead, Andrew. Thank you. And then
Well,
Councillor Oster, that's your third time, Councillor.
So to assist Dana and Steve as they're looking at candidate sites, inclusive if you're looking at a township park, generally speaking, this is working on the premise that some normalcy of outdoor activity is going to be permitted sometime later in May. So in that context, the skate park is busy 7 days a week. Okay. But if you're looking at capturing or overlaying what's going on with the play structure, the splash pad, and the skate park, soccer, youth soccer, is generally Monday to Thursday nights. Okay. And generally, we'll have about 200 families going through the park on a given night when soccer's in play. So, you know, if you're looking at trying to target mass, Monday to Thursday nights would be the heaviest traveled at Cowan Park at the rear of the NDCC. If you're looking at Schmidt Park, it's adult baseball. That's generally, once again, Monday to Thursday nights, and they'll play a doubleheader. Different kind of audience. And of course, there's always the possibility of foot traffic coming from the outlying adjacent residential neighborhood into Schmidt Park, just because of the proximity to a large portion of residential population. But in terms of programmed activity, it's Monday to Thursday nights adult ball at Schmidt Park. Victoria Park, obviously there's the two lit tennis courts, and there's the two baseball diamonds. And once again, generally Monday to Thursday nights and Saturday mornings historically have been the bulk of the hours taken up by the junior Vics through the various age cohorts, generally from about 6 o'clock until about 9 o'clock or so at night.
So what I'm asking for you is, where would you like to?
Okay, we're just to kind of recap. It's not so much that we're looking for the mass audience, Andrew. Just to recap on that, it's more again just, you know, the safety measures in terms of being able to have that ample spot where, you know, parking and kids running and stuff like that would but we'll work on that. I mean, that's something that we're going to have to get back to you on. And you know, I just know that, you know, there's obviously amendment that has to be done here, as well as, you know, even with the possibility of even downtown kind of by your new community square there that's been opened up as an option too, where drive some people into the downtown core as well too, right? Doesn't necessarily have to be tucked away at these parks or whatever, right?
But the curling club was, whoops. Go ahead.
In terms of the footprint of the vehicle, does it fit within a standard parking stall, or is it something a little bit more oversized?
Yeah, we probably need at least 2 parking stalls.
Andrew, would we need special permission from the region to allow it to park on the regional road there?
So there's potentially 2 issues. One is, yes, you would need, because it's a commercial enterprise within a parking area. I don't know the genesis of the original purpose of the restriction in terms of mobile vendors as it relates to how the bylaw was originally crafted in ERA 1998, but I have to assume that it was concerns by some of the restaurant businesses. I'm going to say your bricks and mortar operations. So there are some restaurants immediately adjacent to or in proximity to the corner of Stanley and Northumberland, and they may not look favorably upon a business enterprise on wheels that close to them. We've never had that discussion in the recent past with the restaurateurs in the downtown. So, you know, I'm only going back to, I'm assuming the way the bylaw was framed in 98. I don't know whether it's still an issue with some of those businesses or not.
Okay, but that again, it would be involving the region because it would be a regional road. So you would have to get permission from the regional council.
Yeah, it's just an option, guys. You know.
So
I think we would try and get a.
Dana, you go ahead. You tried to talk twice. Go ahead, dear.
That's We would probably try and get approval from like more of a commercial property downtown, like a parking lot, that kind of thing, than being parked on like a regional road. Yeah.
Now, can I suggest either, there's two options for council. We can either defer until they have a location, or we can pass in principle. Which would you suggest, CEO McNeely?
If I may suggest as well, Mayor Foxton, the fifth point, the fifth bullet in the resolution, we could change it to read pending confirmation of a location to be approved by council and the property owner's permission secured.
Perfect. We
we
could
can-
amend it that way. Yes.
Yeah, if that works. Okay, let me, would you like to proceed with the resolution?
Yeah, and yeah, maybe you
I'll have
should.
my hand up if I can speak.
Yeah, you've already spoke twice. Sorry, Derek. It's procedural bylaw. So go ahead with the resolution, Ashley.
So moved by Councillor Osner and seconded by Councillor Rollman, that the delegation from Dana and Steve Greer within.
Excuse me. I do not believe Councillor Rollerman can second as he declared conflict on this item.
Yes, thank you. Yes, do we have another member who would like to second it?
Councillors, anyone?
No.
Pam's got her hand up. Go ahead, Pam. Thanks.
Moved by Councillor Osner and seconded by Councillor Gillespie, that the delegation from Dana and Steve Greer with Indulge Hawaiian Shave Ice and Ice Cream be received, and that Township Council provide for an exemption from bylaw number 1758-98 to accommodate the operations of no more than one stationary refreshment and food vehicle, subject to the following provisions. 1, the operating period shall be limited from May 1st to September 30th, 1 or 2 days a week only between the hours of 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. 2, satisfactory inspection and approvals secured from the region's public health department. 3, satisfactory inspection and approvals secured from the fire department. 4, ensure appropriate public gathering and physical distancing requirements as set out by the province are met and adhered to. 5, pending confirmation of a location to be approved by council and the property owner's permission secured. And 6, ensure appropriate insurance is obtained and provide proof to the township.
So I guess you need to secure the location and update us on that. And once you've done that, you don't have to come back to council for that. Just inform us, and then staff will let council know that all the objectives have been met. So go ahead, Ms. Sage.
I just have a question. Does that apply for the township properties too, or just for private commercial?
We have to give them a location.
The resolution doesn't specify. Just
So either is fine?
Yes, correct.
Okay,
so
thank you.
Go ahead, Ms. Sage.
Mayor Foxton, your vote for that?
Yes.
Councillor Rollman?
No, he has a conflict.
Thank you. Councillor Osner?
I was wondering, CEO McNeely, can you confirm the procedural bylaw that I can only speak twice and not 3 times?
You're
You're
on
on mute.
I'll have to pull up the procedural bylaw. I don't
Actually, we
know.
just did this, Ms. Sage. Can you confirm it, please? We went through this just a couple weeks ago because I was inquired by others that I was allowing too many to speak too often.
Sorry, I just
Really?
don't have it up in front of me, but if you give me a minute.
Councillor Osner, would it be all right if we carried on with the vote and then, or did you have a
Okay.
comment against this?
Can I please confirm it first, please?
Councillor Osner, when you have something like that, you just say point of order, and you can interject at any time and say point of order. You can stop and we investigate, okay? You didn't have to wait for me to recognize you. You just say point of order. That means everything stops and I listen to what you have to say on the order that you're questioning. Ms. Sage?
Sorry, yes. I'm just pulling up the procedural bylaw.
If it is only two, that's very handcuffing when you're getting into a conversation where we've discussed several options. And, you know, if you can only say something twice, you can't give options. It kind of handcuffs us when we come to a situation where we're all trying to work on something that's in the best interest of the Greers.
But we voted on this and discussed it. I brought that point up at the time. But you can't, it's very ambiguous because you can carry around and go to everyone and then you get to speak twice. And CEO McNeely?
Okay, Madam Mayor, I'm looking at section 4 of the procedural bylaw and specifically section 4.1, conduct of members of council. So every member desiring to speak shall indicate so in order to be recognized by the chair. And of course, because we're doing this remotely, we've been using our hands signal at the bottom of the Zoom platform. When two or more members wish to speak, the chair shall recognize the member who, in the opinion of the chair, first signified their intention to speak. Once a member has spoken to a question, that member cannot speak to the question again until all members who wish to speak to that question have spoken. No member, without the leave of council, will speak to the same question or in reply for longer than 5 minutes. Each member shall ask no more than 3 questions.
I apologize.
Once all members have asked their questions, then each member may ask no more than a maximum of 3 additional questions, and so on.
So they get 6 altogether then, CEO McNeely? 3 and technically? Okay, I
Technically,
apologize.
they can have more than 6 because what you do is you're allowed 3 questions in 5 minutes. If there is another member of council that wishes to speak to the item, then that next member would be given the opportunity to speak. If there's no one else wishing to speak to the matter, then the member who had more questions can ask more. Okay, once again, no more than 5 minutes, no more than 3 questions. Council, you'd canvass the floor again to see if there's anyone else that wishes to speak, and that member can ask another round of questions if they wish.
So when you said 3 questions and no more than 5 minutes, so is that a cumulative? So if you asked one question, it took 1.5 minutes, and the next question took 2 minutes, it would be 3.5 minutes? I thought it was 5 minutes per time.
I can get this done really quick if you just let me speak.
I said go ahead, but go ahead, Derek, while he's looking. Go ahead, Derek. Councillor Rossi.
What I was going to suggest is, can we not, as we said, approve it based on location, but what we can do is put in Cowan Park, Schmidt Park, maybe the parking lot on Gibson Street as a downtown location, or any additional private locations that the Greers secure. That way, if we list a few of the locations, that I think it would be a lot easier when it comes to giving that final approval. If it's in there, I don't even think it has to come back for another vote, does it? If we put the locations in, and then they can choose from the locations.
I think we would have to have a definitive location because it'll also affect our grounds. So we would have to approve the final location. But I think leaving it the way it is leaves the option up to the Greers. I'm comfortable with leaving it the way it is rather than adding on a list, trying to list places. But what do others think? Any comments from the rest?
Yeah, just expanding on Derek's idea there. You know, we're looking at different locations, so to be able to list them a bunch of multiple ones and be able to do, you know, 2 or 3 nights, possibly even 4 nights, depending on, other resistance that we might run into in other townships and stuff like that. We'd like to have that suggestion highlighted and allow for it to be a possibility.
So you want them listed, because right now, by not listing them, we're leaving it wide open for you. If we list them, then you can't go outside the ones we've listed.
But the amount of days too during the week, if we choose to do more than 2, is that still a viable option?
I don't know, you're changing the whole bylaw then, because you're requesting 1 to 2 days a week. So we
Okay.
have to start all over again. You have to be more definitive. The
Understood.
reason
Understood. It's fine.
I was on in 1998. Not only did the restaurants in town not want it, but also along the 401 corridor. They did not want it. And they petitioned the council at that time. And not only that, residents brought up concerns of garbage, and especially if the place stayed there always. We've tried it a few times and it's been hugely successful because it's been at responsible locations, and they've made sure that that it's been cleaned up if they haven't had it cleaned up. So we can't leave it that open-ended, because we're basically wiping out.
Understood.
So
Dana just corrected me on that she did apply for only 2 days. So I stand corrected.
are there any other comments? Does anybody want to see it changed to listed? Did you prefer it to be changed to list items, Steve and Dana? Do you want the
I
location
prefer it to be
listed?
open right now, to be honest.
Okay,
I prefer it to be open.
okay. So then we can carry on. Councilor, we're good? We're good?
Yes.
Councilor Rossner?
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
sorry, you were cutting in and out. I didn't quite hear. Yeah, my only point was this, I was looking at listing the township locations, just the township locations as an option for them. And if they secured any other sites, they could add that to it, but that's fine. The Grewers want to leave it, we'll leave it.
Okay, so carry on with the vote then, please.
Councillor
Oh.
Rossner,
Yes.
Councillor McCreary,
Yes.
Councillor Gillespie,
Yes.
that carries.
Thank you. And thank you, guys. Have a good night.
All right. High five, everyone.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Take care. And Cynthia, you're moving them out, and so we can go on to the consent agenda.
I'm just going to let Councillor Roloman know he can join back
Yes,
in.
of course.
Okay, he's here.
Thank you. So going on to, we are consent agenda, committee of the whole. Is there any item anyone wishes to discuss or pull from the consent agenda? Seeing none, can I have the motion? You do not have to read it in its entirety.
So moved by Councillor McCreary, seconded by Councillor Ossner, that council adopt the following recommendations as listed in 6.1.1A through to H on the agenda as presented by Committee of the Whole dated April 12th, 2021. And that's as presented on the agenda top sheet. Mayor Foxton, your vote for that?
Yes.
Councillor Roloman,
Yes.
Councillor Ossner,
Yes.
Councillor McCreary,
Yes.
Councillor Gillespie.
Yes.
Okay, that carries.
Thank you. And now we're looking at 6.2, regular council meeting minutes.
Moved by Councillor Ossner, seconded by Councillor Gillespie, that council approve the following minutes. Regular council meeting minutes dated March 22nd, 2021, and Committee of the Whole minutes dated April 12th, 2021. Mayor Foxton, your vote for that?
Yes.
Councillor Roloman,
Yes.
Councillor Ossner,
Yes.
Councillor McCreary,
Yes.
and Councillor Gillespie.
Yes.
That carries.
Thank you. Sorry, guys, just flipping through. And now we are on to having 7.1, correspondence received from Mark Bauer and Petra Bauer with Harry's Food Truck requesting council amend their location from 2564 Cedar Creek Road to 218 Boyder Avenue. Any questions, comments? Can I have the resolution then, please?
Moved by Councillor Rowland, seconded by Councillor Gillespie, that the correspondence received from Mark Bauer and Petra Bauer with Harry's Food Truck requesting council amend their location be received, and that council provide an amendment to the location of the food truck to allow it to be located at 218 Boyda Avenue, and that all other provisions and conditions previously approved by council at their meeting held on February 22nd, 2021 remain unchanged. Mayor Foxton, your vote for that?
Yes.
Councillor Rowland,
Yes.
Councillor Oster,
Yes.
Councillor McCreary,
Yes.
Councillor Gillespie?
Yes.
Okay, that carries.
Thank you. And next we have the Air Lions Club requesting rent relief. Any questions or comments on this? Councillor McCreary.
I was just wondering what the dollar value is. I'm sure it's not that much. And I'm not against this in principle, but I just noticed that the dollar value is not mentioned here in their memo. I
CEO
think that's
McNeil.
something we should know.
Madam Mayor, through to Councillor McCreary, it's $500 per year.
Okay, yeah. Considering the circumstances, it's not a big deal. I just wanted the number. Thank you.
I have to agree with you, and I could have wished it was in the report. So the motion, please, if there's no other comments or questions, motion, please.
Moved by Councillor Gillespie, seconded by Councillor Rowland, that the correspondence received from the Air North Dumfries Lion Club requesting rent relief be received, and that council direct staff to waive and or refund the rent payment to the Air North Dumfries Lions Club for unused portions for 2020 and 2021 to be funded from the 2021 Community Grants Program. Mayor Foxton, your vote for that?
Yes.
Councillor Rowland,
Yes.
Councillor Oster,
Yes.
Councillor McCreary,
Yes.
Councillor Gillespie?
Yes.
That carries.
Thank you. Next, we have correspondence, communications correspondence. Before we bring up the motion, did anybody want to touch on any of the correspondences? I had, of course, I put it down by page number. The planning one on page 61. Which I'm going to have to try and bring up. And the second one was the 988 suicide and crisis hotline, which is an interesting thing that I hope goes through. And the last one CEO McNeely answered for me, which is the farmers questioning the clean fuel standards, which is basically the gas tax, not the gas tax. The what's it called, CEO McNeely?
Carbon tax.
Thank you. I have Councillor McCreary and then Councillor Oster and then Councillor Gillespie.
I wanted to look at 9.1.7, the Planning Act timelines.
That was the one I had, the planning. Yes, okay.
Yeah. 9.1.9, the letter from Reg Cressman about firearms.
Yep. And any more, Councillor McCreary?
That's it.
Okay, Councillor Oster.
Just generally on 915 and the 3-digit suicide crisis prevention hotline 918.
Okay. And Councillor Gillespie.
Yes, I was with the Planning Acts 9.17 and 9.18 as well, the crisis line. I was just voting in favor. We should support that.
Oh, well, we'll do them probably all in favor unless we want to pull one for some specific reason. So let's start with 9.1.5, Cochrane, Town of Cochrane regarding the youth of residential closure. Who had that one? Was that Councillor Oster? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was I was just going to say that I think that's something that we should support. Now, generally with these communications, are we supporting them all unless we pull them? Is that what you said?
We will accept all correspondence. So we're just accepting the correspondence, but the ones we pull are that we want to support. So
Okay, all
we're
right.
not pulling
I
it.
misunderstood.
Accepting them all as correspondence, but we're discussing certain ones to see which ones we want to back.
Okay, I misunderstood. I thought you said that we're accepting them all unless we pull them.
No, we're accepting them all as correspondence, but then we are adding.
Okay, gotcha. So anyway, I'd be in favor of supporting 9.1.5 for the remote areas like Cochrane where they need support for the youth.
To me, I don't understand why anybody would not. Is it funded by the province and the province is fully pulling the funding? CEO McNeely?
So Madam Mayor, to sort of round out Councillor Ossner's question, this is a youth justice facility that I believe the province has proposed to either be scaled back or closed. And the town of Cochrane is raising the concerns because of potential gaps then in terms of having local access to similar type facilities.
I can support something like that. So Councillor Ossner, are you recommending that we do resolution motion type thing as well?
I would support that, yes.
Okay, is anyone disagree with doing that? Then Ms. Sage, will you present something for, when is our next meeting? CEO McNeely? You're on mute.
Council's meeting tonight, as long as you don't require more information, the resolution could be as simple as that Township Council endorses the resolution of the town of Cochrane as it relates to the McQuillan Youth Residence closure.
Okay, so do we need to pass that as a motion, CEO McNeely? We do.
Correct.
So
So if you want to
just,
pull it out and endorse it, then you would need to have a resolution. Otherwise, you're just receiving it for the purposes of information.
okay, so that's one we want to pull out, Ashley, when we've gone through these all. The second one is 9.1.7, resolution received from the City of Kitchener regarding the Planning Act timelines. All right. So, CEO McNeely, how is that going to affect us and our staff?
So, Madam Mayor, what the City of Kitchener is saying, they would like to lengthen the review time that's available to municipal councils to review, process, and consider Planning Act applications. City of Kitchener is saying that there has been quite a significant increase in Planning Act applications. The pandemic compounds the processing of applications, and they're bumping up continually against the statutory milestones currently enshrined in the Planning Act. So they're asking for support to have durations extended or lengthened to allow for more time to process Planning Act applications.
And so we're all aware, we are also under constraints right now in approving planning acts. It's a full house right now. And if we don't meet deadlines that are set out in the act right now, we can go to LPAC and be taken to LPAC and forced to do it without doing our due diligence completely. So is this something that we want to support? How does it affect the timelines as it is? So they're asking for an extension. I thought the timelines got bumped back and they're asking for it to return to what it was.
So, Madam Mayor, not only are they asking that the period be lengthened, they've actually proposed timelines that are longer than what was in the Planning Act prior to 2019.
So what they did is the government shortened it, and Kitchener's asking it not only to go back to what it was, but lengthen. I don't know how you guys feel about this. What are your thoughts, councilors? Councillor Ossner, then Councillor Gillespie.
Sorry, I was just going to ask, was it Councillor McCreary or Councillor Gillespie that pulled this?
It was one of the ones I had listed, but I believe it's Councillor Gillespie as well.
It was me.
Okay,
I did as well.
So the three of us, yeah.
Because we had talked about this not long ago, that we're up against a big log jam of applications and we're running out of time, or it's not working well. So that's why I thought it would be wise to support this.
Any councillor, some put their hands down. Nobody else wants to speak on it. I'm just concerned that we could support it, and I wholeheartedly agree. But this is the government that took it back to even less than what it was. So, but we can support in principle. How many do you want to do that? I think three of us brought it up, so we will. So this, Ashley, same type of thing as the previous motion. We will support Kitchener's motion as well.
Would you like each of these as a separate motion, and we'll
Yes.
do them at the end? Okay.
Yes. Okay, so the next, any other comments on this? Seeing none. Next, we have the 3-digit suicide crisis prevention hotline, the 9881. So again, full support for this. Is that what I'm assuming I'm hearing from everyone?
Mhm.
So Ashley, we also want to support the 988 crisis hotline. And the final one is 919.
excuse me, Madam Mayor, I had my hand up for that.
When I looked before, it wasn't up. Go ahead.
I was just going to make a comment about that. It's about time that it's come into place, and I can't believe it's taken this long to get here when this is being in the States. They've done this for quite a while. So I'm really surprised that we're not there yet, and that I was hoping that we would support it. Thank you.
I have to totally agree with you. And all we've talked about is how difficult it is right now for our individuals, especially COVID has added another mix. So it is well past time. Any other comments on this? This will be another resolution, Ashley. And the last one is 9.1.9, Reg Cressman Firearms. I can't remember who pulled this one.
That was me.
Oh, go ahead, Councilor.
For this one, I'm just wondering, are we able to get an update on what's happening with this? I thought that Chair Redmond, the region was going to be following up on the aspect of municipalities having to take responsibility for this, that they were not in favor of it being downloaded on municipalities. Do we know where this stands right now?
I believe the provinces, the federal government put it down to the municipalities. We discussed it at council and said, if it's going to be dealt with, it should be dealt at a regional level so there's consistency with Waterloo Region Police, instead of 7 municipalities doing 7 different regulations on firearms. But I think regional council has basically said, don't quote me 100%, but I believe they've stated, we will leave things as it is. It is not an issue in Waterloo Region as of yet. But we can get clarification. Can I ask staff to reach out to the region for clarification on where they stand on gun regulations and whether they are anticipating any changes? CEO McNeely.
So the first thing is the government actually hasn't passed legislation yet. They have it out, but they have not yet enacted. So it's a platform in terms of a draft regulation. And there are discussions across the region to determine if the government moves forward, is it appropriate to be dealt with at the local level? And if so, what is the best way of having an approach? And I think you're going to see that there's a division between the urban and the townships in terms of firearms and handguns.
Did we look at this? Were you guys on council when we redid the firearms regulations for the township? I'm pretty sure it was last term of council because I was on CBC and also 570 in regards to it, where we had decided that what exists now is adequate for our township. But again, that was a term ago. So I guess it's just a wait and see then, CEO McNeely.
Today, we do not have the statutory authority. But if the current federal government moves forward with the regulation, then council, if they wish, has the ability to establish standards.
Thank you. Is that
Something that
clarification?
Waterloo Region Police Service has is you could have a patchwork across the 7 area municipalities, and it was very similar to the cannabis retail component. You know, does it make more sense to have, if the powers of conferred, does it make more sense to have one standard across Waterloo Region?
Okay, so Councilor McCreary, that, I guess that's the answer. That is still. up in
Yeah,
the-
that's the answer. I just wanted to have an update on where that stands right now.
Sure,
Thank
okay. So we will pass the correspondence and then we will deal with the 3 resolutions we are going to pull. So the motion for the correspondence, please.
So moved by Councillor Gillespie, seconded by Councillor Rowland, that council receive the following items as presented 9.1.1 through to 9.1.12. Mayor Foxton, your vote?
Yes.
Councillor Rowland,
Yes.
Councillor Ossner,
Yes.
Councillor McCreary,
Yes.
Councillor Gillespie,
Yes.
that carries.
Thank you. Now, can we have the resolution in regards to the youth residential closure in the town of Cochrane?
Certainly. Do we have a mover and a seconder for that motion?
I'll move it.
Councilor Rowland will second.
That Township Council endorse the resolution from the town of Cochrane as it relates to the Mequon youth residence closure. Mayor Foxton, your vote for that?
Yes.
Councillor Rowland,
Yes.
Councillor Ossner,
Yes.
Councillor McCreary,
Yes.
Councillor Gillespie,
Yes.
that carries.
Thank you. And next we have the Planning Act timelines.
Certainly. Do we have a mover and a seconder for that?
Councilor Gillespie? I'm going to assign Councilor McCreary if she's okay, because then it evens it out. Is that okay, Councilor McCreary? Okay, carry on, Ms. Sage.
That Township Council endorse the resolution from the City of Kitchener as it relates to the Planning Act timelines. Mayor Foxton, your vote for that?
Yes.
Councillor Rowland,
Yes.
Councillor Ossner,
Yes.
Councillor McCreary,
Yes.
Councillor Gillespie,
Yes.
that carries.
And the final one is the 988 Suicide and Crisis Prevention Hotline. Mover and seconder. Mover, please. Or I'll sign Councilor Ossner, seconder, Councilor Rowland. Okay. Ms. Sage?
That Township Council endorse a resolution received from the town of Caledon as it relates to the support for a 3-digit suicide and crisis prevention hotline. Mayor Foxton, your vote for that?
Yes.
Councillor Rowland,
Yes.
Councillor Ossner,
Yes.
Councillor McCreary,
Yes.
and Councillor Gillespie,
Yes.
that carries.
Thank you. Now we're looking at the Strategic Shareholders Advisory Committee meeting minutes of March 10th and March 24th.
Moved by Councillor Ossner, seconded by Councillor Gillespie, that council receive for the purposes of information the following items. SSAC minutes dated March 10th, 2021 and March 24th, 2021. Mayor Foxton, your vote for that?
Yes.
Councillor Rowland,
Yes.
Councillor Ossner,
Yes.
Councillor McCreary,
Yes.
Councillor Gillespie,
Yes.
that carries.
Thank you. And next we have the region minutes and Grand River Grant minutes.
Moved by Councillor McCreary, seconded by Councillor Rollman, that council receive for the purposes of information the following items. Region of Waterloo minutes dated March 9th, March 24th, and April 13th, 2021. And the Grand River Accessibility Advisory Committee minutes dated March 25th, 2021. Mayor Foxton,
Yes.
Councillor Rollman,
Yes.
Councillor Oster,
Yes.
Councillor McCreary,
Yes.
Councillor Gillespie,
Yes.
that carries.
And next we have first and second reading of the bylaw.
Moved by Councillor Gillespie, seconded by Councillor McCreary, that the following bylaws be taken as read a first and second time. Bylaw number 3237-21 being a bylaw to adopt the estimates of all sums required during the year and to fix tax rates and provide for the levy and collection of municipal, region, and education taxes for the year of 2021.
Now, I
Mayor
think we should pause here and make Christine sweat a little bit. Yes.
Councillor Rollman,
Yes.
Councillor Oster,
Yes.
Councillor McCreary,
Yes.
and Councillor Gillespie.
Yes.
That carries.
Thank you. And next is the third reading and final reading of the bylaw.
Moved by Councillor Rollman, seconded by Councillor Oster, that the following bylaws be taken as read a third time and finally passed. Bylaw number 3237-21 being a bylaw to adopt the estimates of all sums required during the year and to fix tax rates and provide for the levy and collection of municipal, region, and education taxes for the year of 2021. Mayor Foxton,
Yes.
Councillor Rollman,
Yes.
Councillor Oster,
Yes.
Councillor McCreary,
Yes.
Councillor Gillespie,
Yes.
that carries.
Thank you. And now we're going to get ready to go into closed. So can I have the motion to move us into closed, please?
Moved by Councillor Rollman, seconded by Councillor Oster, that council move into a closed meeting session at 7:57 p.m. under the Municipal Act, Section 239, subsection 2, subsection C, to discuss report number CAO-12-2021, a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board, Municipal Act, Section 239, subsection 2, subsection C. Mayor Foxton, your vote?
Yes.
Councillor Rollman,
Yes.
Councillor Oster,
Yes.
Councillor McCreary,
Yes.
Councillor Gillespie,
Yes.
that carries.
Thank
We'll just take
you.
a pause